This is an odd case in that the California voters passed this law, and then the current governor of California and the attorney general have decided they're not interested in defending it. They think it's unconstitutional. And so at that point, there was no obvious actor to defend the law in court. So the people who had supported Prop 8 all along and put it on the ballot showed up and said, we're going to take this on. We're going to defend this law. On the one hand, that seems like a strange idea that a group of private citizens can play that role, substituting themselves for an official public actor. On the other hand, as Charles Cooper pointed out, if they're not allowed to come forward, then the will of the voters is thwarted by the governor's simple decision not to defend the law. And that also seems like a problem. Well, surely there are 4 votes on the court for upholding Proposition 8. And I think the best argument advanced was essentially gay marriage is brand new. And since we haven't had a whole lot of experience yet with it as a society, we should let voters like the ones in California ban it for now. Charles Cooper, the lawyer defending Prop 8, talked about pushing the pause button. Donald Verrilli, who's the Solicitor General for the United States, and the Obama administration is in the case on the side of striking down the gay marriage ban. Verrilli said, it's not the pause button, it's really the delete button. You took these rights away. But if you buy this idea of newness, then the standard for allowing the voters to prevail should not be as high. So there were 3 important things about Justice Kennedy. I saw no evidence from him that he is interested in upholding Proposition 8. He didn't say anything along those lines. He seemed divided, though, about how to handle this case precisely. On the one hand, he said at one point that maybe the court shouldn't have taken the case at all. He seemed to be losing whatever affection he had had for it. On the other hand, in the most kind of emotional and urgent moment of the morning, he talked about the voices of the children. He meant the 37,000 kids who have been adopted by gay couples in California, and the idea that for them, not having parents who can get married is a problem, and that allowing their parents to have that right would be good for their stability and their futures. The other moment that really stuck with me from argument this morning was Justice Kagan's pressing of Charles Cooper, the lawyer defending Proposition 8. The main argument that Cooper has fallen back on is the idea that the fundamental purpose of marriage is natural procreative purposes, that essentially you have to have penis-vagina sex in order to really justify marriage as an institution. And the thing that's crazy about this is obviously it leaves out infertile couples and older couples. So Justice Kagan very skillfully pressed Cooper on this and said, would it be constitutional for the state to say, okay, procreation is our purpose, so we're going to deny marriage licenses to people over the age of 55? Cooper had no good answer for this. Instead, what happened was that Scalia bailed him out with a joke about Strom Thurmond, the former South Carolina senator who fathered a child in his 70s. Coming into argument, I was betting on the California-only solution, the idea that the court would strike down Proposition 8 without disturbing any of the other laws across the country. Coming out, I heard more support for the idea that there's no standing, that this case will just go away because the court will rule that the defenders of Proposition 8 didn't have a legitimate reason to be there.